All right, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Vintage House. We have a nice full house tonight with your host, me, Lori Branch, Lauren Lowry. Mega is in the house. I didn't know if you was coming, Mega,
Hey,
but you're
I
here.
made it.
And our special guest, Dion Hunter. Woohoo! Thank you for
Oh,
being here.
Dion.
He's in the
How's it going?
studio. I love it. I love that people come in the studio. Really
Oh
do.
yeah.
And
This is where
is that where you work? You know what I would love? We'll get to that, but I would love a tour of your studio since you're there. Like,
Oh,
since you're right there, you could tell people, especially those who are not initiated into, the DJ world, what it is. What's your equipment look like?
oh, oh
Tell
I,
those people.
I got a little bit of everything.
Not yet,
DJ.
not yet. We're gonna
Oh,
take your time, okay? Because you got to tell people
hey,
what a DJ
it's
is.
your room.
All right, Lauren, why don't you
Just the
give our
bottom.
give our audience a sense of Vintage House. We're usually on WNUR 89.3 FM in Evanston, Chicago, but we have been housebound since the pandemic started, which is okay. We're making it work. But I think it'd be good just to do a level set about the Vintage House program. Lauren, would you be up for that while we're waiting for Glenn?
absolutely. First of all, again, Dion Hunter, Glenn Underground, when he pops in, what a pleasure to have you all on the show. Glenn's been on before, but we didn't hear much from him. So really looking forward to learning more. The Vintage House Show is powered by the Modern Dance Music Research and Archiving Foundation, whose sole goal is to preserve and celebrate the history of house music and the people and the lives and careers of those people who assisted in making house music a global fixture, um, and a fantastic music genre. So we do that here by sort of archiving oral histories of those pioneers and anyone who contributed to the history of house. So we are so happy that the Vintage House Show is celebrating over 5 years of contributing to the research and what we hope will be a phenomenal genre of scholarship around Black music, around dance music, around music in general. And hopefully this contributes to the canon of what Black genres of music are. Chicago has a big part to play in all of those genres, and just proud
Yeah.
to have the Vintage House Show to do
Amen.
its part.
Amen. Okay. I think thank you, Lauren. Just a level set. We're adding.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. Glenn Underground. All right.
Cool.
We're here. So thank you for being here. I have to do a little bit of a disclosure. I have a cat. Any cat lovers in the room?
I love them, just allergic to them.
Oh my gosh. So
If
my
I
cat,
wasn't, I have about four of them if I wasn't.
I'll give you one, but my cat is my cat escaped as I was bringing in groceries, and she likes to he likes to like hunt. He's a hunting cat, like bring us presents like dead mice. And so he's stuck outside, but I think hopefully he'll be in. You might see me scurrying away to like jump on the couch because a mouse has been brought into the house, but I'll try not to make that happen. So anyway, we're just so thrilled. We're so thrilled to have you both here. My cat story. Linda Red's allergic too. Yeah, I know. Vince Adams was up. Hey, everybody's allergic to cats. Who loves cats? Des Uno. Yep. Well, listen, we're not. This is not about cats. It's about our guest tonight, Glenn Underground, Dion Hunter. We've been waiting a while to get you guys on here, and we're so glad that you can make it. I'm going to start. I have a ton of questions, but you have both me, Lauren, and Mega, who probably have lots of our other questions. So, but I'm going to just kick us off by just saying thank you for your contributions to house music. You've done such amazing work. I was just doing a little research and seeing, really both of your work just contributing the vast amounts of music and production and partnerships. And so you were on the show once before, Glenn, and I think you were here with Boo when Boo was here,
Yeah.
and we didn't get you to talk, so we're happy to have you back.
Well, it was about my brother. I was just there enjoying. So
Oh man, no,
We wanted to hear from you. We wanted
we
to hear
want
from you. So
both
that's why
of
we
you.
got you back.
Well,
That's
y'all
true.
got me now.
Good, good. Well, let's kick it off. So I want to, I'd love to start with you, Glenn, and then I want to hear from you, Dion. But way we typically like to start the show is when and where did you enter? With this thing called house music, it's got lots of roots and lots of different ways that we describe it. Um, but we try to do this in a way that we can catalog it and timeline it. And if you could talk about Glenn and then Dion, like when and where you entered, that would be a great way to kick us off. Like what motivated you to get into this thing? What were you doing first? Where'd you go to high school? All that good stuff. So let's start with Glenn.
Well, with me, like my whole family basically it's not like it's over exaggerated, but my whole family, at least 10 people, are all musicians and DJs. So I guess I was designed to carry the torch. And my uncle started teaching me how to play, I'll say 1984. And it's this DJing and house music is like dope.
Who's
Like
your uncle? Shout him
my,
out.
oh, let me shout him out. He probably watching and he'll cuss me out if I don't shout him out. His name is David Collins. He's on Facebook. You can find him. This cat was a genius with the turntables. And of course, like a lot of DJs from the Shy, I learned how to blend, but also scratch, six scratch tricks, and all of that. And then, to cut a long story short, I heard Ron Hardy and Lil Lewis, and that changed the game for me. Musically, my whole perspective on the way I looked at it, and just playing and being a mature DJ. And to see Ron Hardy do his thing, to see Lewis, even Frankie Knuckles. But as far as edge go, I like the edge, and Ron and Lewis had edge to me. They were real edgy, and I think that personifies Chicago house music. And it
Where
started
did
like
you see Ron Hart?
before he left the 326, but mainly at the Powerhouse when he took it over. And then I would see Ron Hardy at different various parties around the city, like when he did the Hills Francisco party. And to just see the energy that that guy played with, it was like amazing, to me. And I tell people to this day, you got this thing in Chicago where everybody is so stuck on the classics, like that's something new. And they talk Ron Hardy, but I tell those same people, y'all would hate Ron Hardy if he was here today because he was for house music. I do know that everybody would take their music to this man and he would play it. And I started looking at it from the standpoint that that disco music was more like a filler in the 80s to get to the new house. You work the crowd up and then you hit them with that one or two tracks that drove them nuts. And at the end of the night, everybody went home talking about the new music and how they can get copies or whatever. And it was the edits too, of course. But Ronnie, to me, as far as the DJ world go, I say this all the time, and I piss my brother Miko Jones off with it. I say Larry Heard is the godfather of house because he was the creator making the good music, him and Marshall. Ron Hardy was the godfather of energy to me. His energy was like, it was crazy. And as a kid seeing that, I was like, shit, damn, I need to be like that. So, hello, y'all there?
Yeah, we're here.
We're
Oh,
We
okay.
just
we're
said,
in we're in awe listening to
It
you.
got real quiet. And
Yeah.
then then when it came to Lewis, it was like Lewis knew how to, his blending was like impeccable to me. And he had the energy with his tracks that Ron played with. But Ron was more like, I would say, Ron was the prototype. And somebody like Lil Lewis for me was the personification of that prototype because Ron can take pots and pans and make your ass jack. So when I look at Lil Lewis, his formula was it was more like Ron Hardy with a splash of Larry Heard to me. Like those are like as far as my heartbeat and the way my heartbeat moved to music, those three guys changed my life musically forever. And when it come down to it, that's all I talk about overseas. I talk about everybody in Chicago and a gift that the guys before me gave this city, and I mean the Chicago guys that they gave me. But when it come down to like my four favorite is Marshall, Larry, Ronnie, and Lewis. Because like I said, it taught me how to look at music maturely. It's like we had dope artists. We had Jesse. We had Jamie. But then Larry did something that was like, I say this in interviews today. Anybody making house music, producing it, they making Larry's music. And I say this to the New York guys too, because I always ask them this one question. How many times y'all sample Can You Feel It versus how many times we sampled anything that you guys did? Think about the 90s. They sampled that song over 50 times, and I'm not
Yeah,
exaggerating it. And that showed me like this is the future. And this is why I'm so hell bent. I love my classics. The classics are my schoolmaster, but the new music is what it's about. It's like creating our own path, like they did with disco and jazz funk. And our path is lasting the longest right now. And
yeah,
when I play to this day, I try not to be stuck in the 80s. That's I love it. Dion, I tell you, we got mega vinyl between me and Boo. We had over like 10,000 articles of vinyl when we were roommating.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like,
Boo gave me some music. He has so much. He'd be like, "Here, take this, take this, take that."
right,
Boo's
He
got a
does
lot
that
of music.
same thing. He does that to me too.
He's like, "You
right.
need this."
So now I listen to that and do homework. Like if you like listen in depth to a lot of what I call my good tracks, because I did a bunch of crap to me back in the day. If you listen to a lot of it, you'll hear echoes of old classics in them. Like I might do a lead riff with a moog or something, or a bass line a certain way. Like I did a song called Negro Music. That bass line and the whole track was Let's Groove by Archie Bell and the Drills.
I love that.
A
I
lot of
listened to
people
it
don't
today.
catch it. Which one? Archie Bell and the Drills, Let's
Yeah,
Groove? Yeah.
yeah.
Now go
It's
back
nice.
when you get a chance and listen to Negro music, and it's the same thing, just
That's
sped
what
up.
I'm saying. I heard your song Negro Music. I was
Oh,
going through your Bandcamp account.
cool, cool.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. So Dion,
Yes.
when your turn, you're up. When and where did you enter? And you know
Uh,
what and answer why. Like what pulled you into the game?
my time started in 1981 when I graduated from eighth grade. And my cousin, you guys call him Farley Jack Master Funk. I call him Keith. He asked me what did I want to do since
I
I
call him
graduated.
Angry Black Man.
Right. And I told him that I wanted to go to one of the parties that he does. So he took me to, I think it was the candy store, or was it the playground first? It was one of those. And I don't know if you guys remember inside of there, they had the big Jamaican speakers that were about 7 feet tall. And then right next to that, they had the chains coming down with the turntables on them. And he sat me on top of that Jamaican speaker and he told me not to move. And he started playing. I think it was he, Steve Hurley, there's a few other people in there. I don't quite remember, but I sat on that speaker, and when they first started playing, it was probably about 5 or 6 people in there, and I was thinking all the while to myself, like, this is crap. Is it? You only play to 5, 6 people? That's what they do. And I say about 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, this place was packed. Right down there on Michigan, it was packed, and the music was so loud and it just moved me. It was I turned around to him when we were going home and I said, I want to do that. I want to do what you're doing. But it wasn't him who really pushed me into it. It was my other cousin, DJ Pope. which Brian Pope. So those are my two first cousins, and through the both of them, they taught me. But the strange thing with me is I didn't want to DJ. I just wanted to go and enjoy the party and have fun and meet people. And I always thought that DJs argued too much and got into everything. It was always a competition, and that's just how I viewed it. So I didn't want to play music at all. I just wanted to party, And after that, learning, I encountered Frankie Knuckles at Mendel. And I think that was the beginning of me really, going out. But back then, house, to me, it wasn't about the DJ back then. It was more so, if I remember correctly, it was more so about the way you dressed, the attitude that you had, wore Zodiac boots and parachute pants and GAs and those things. It wasn't really about the DJ as much. I mean, as long as somebody was playing that music, is what we called it, we were there. Lori, you were a big inspiration when you were with Vertigo. Is that the name of the group?
Vertigo. Thank you. It was Vertigo. Appreciate that.
You and Craig, and I can never remember the other young man that played with you guys, but you guys were a big inspiration. I mean, I think I followed you guys for a long time. Vertigo. That was my group. You guys.
You was a baby. How were you following us around? You were little. You were young.
Years old. A baby.
Did you say? Okay, you was a baby still.
Yeah, somewhat, but I was just short.
Better stop
Still
calling
short.
him a baby, and he's 53 is go tell you old lady.
Well, look, we're doing Vertigo when I'm 18 and 19, and if you're 53, I won't have you do the math, but I'll just say you was a baby back then. If I was 18 and 19 and you were hanging out on the scene, that's the stereotype. Hey, if you're watching the
I
show,
remember you now. I was definitely a baby.
You were what?
I was definitely a baby hearing you and Celeste back in the day.
Oh my goodness, that's my girl.
Lori, I used to hang out outside. I think it was me, Tim Powell, and a few other guys that I grew up. Boo Williams too, because I grew up with him also. So.
Yes, hanging out outside was the ticket, right? Like I tell people this a lot. When we were young, sometimes we never even went in the club. And sometimes that meant we didn't make money, especially when we were throwing parties at Sours and everybody was hanging outside because there's a party going on outside. Do you guys remember that? I know you do.
Smoking cigarettes.
Repeat your name again the way you supposed to say it. I've been telling people that for years.
Sours?
Thank you. There you go.
Well, that's what I call it. I know people call it Sawyers, but I called it Sours.
Yep, it was
all right. Is it Sours?
Sours.
It's
yep.
Sours. That's the right
Sours,
one. Sours restaurant. And they
Demetrius or agrees with us. Thank you, Demetrius.
Yeah, but Lori, I used to hang out outside. Every time we tried to get in that place, we could get in if I forget the guy's name, the real big body door guy was there. He would let us in sometimes. But if Robert was ever on the door, we could never get in. Ever. It was a no-no. I think the first time I met Robert had to be about 84. And he was like,
okay.
Why are you guys here? And you shouldn't be here or whatever. I don't know what it was, but he would never let us in. But the big guy would just, he didn't care, I don't think. We'd give him a couple of bucks and we were in there, period. And enjoyed ourselves, That's where I began at. So
that's fantastic. Now, you guys have a partnership now, and I want to talk about the Get Down. But before we do that, Dion, can you walk us through your studio? Because you have a lot of people, especially folks who are friends of mine who are not necessarily, steeped in the DJ world or the production world. Because I want to hear about your careers as a DJ and producer. But I thought it was fun since you're sitting there. Maybe you could tell us what's around you and tell us about your equipment and what about it that you like, that you dislike. I see you got some CDJs. But give us a 2-minute tutorial on what you got right there.
Okay. Like you said, you see the CDJs. Actually, I have two sides to my house. So on the other side of my house, I have two basements. So on the other side is where the actual big stuff is, and this is what I call my DJ room. So this is you have the CDJs, then you have the effects machine, the 500, then you have the Rain 2015. Then you have the turntables, which I have the Pioneer 1000s, PLX 1000s here. And on the other side, I have the Techniques, the 1200s. And then you have the machine over here.
What's the machine?
That,
what is
that's
that?
This little beat making machine, right? So you can make all kinds of stuff. I have a hat collection, which inside this room I have probably over 100 hats in here, and then I have more on the other side because I collect hats. And then I keep a lot of African instruments, like I have the drum with the ridges, cymbals, all kind of good stuff. Maracas.
That's a house head right there.
And then also down here I have two JBL. What is that? JBL 818
quarter stick of dynamite, ain't it?
Yeah, and two 818 JBLs, and then I have two JBL 615s, along with my what did you call that thing? The reel to reel, and then I have my drums. I love to play these because when I'm playing, I have to do something with my hands, and
Lisa said they back there collecting dust. I don't know.
No, I beat everything. Especially my tambourines. I have like 4 tambourines, and Glenn keeps trying to take them. I always play my tambourines while I'm playing because I have to have something in my hand. Just to go along with the beat. I didn't mean to throw it down, but
that's good stuff. That
was a nice report. I loved it.
I know.
On the other side of the house, I have probably 7, 8 more speakers, double scoops, and all of that kind of stuff. Because I used to let people use all of the equipment because that's just who I am. I never charged anybody, so I would allow them to use a pair of my CDJs, turntables, anything that anybody needed. For a couple of years in Chicago, nobody knew where all that equipment was coming from, but it was mine. And I didn't complain, and I never asked anybody to pay me. It's just that's what's in my heart to do. Right. And in some instances, I still do it. But I've gotten a little miffed with the whole house thing. I love house music. Let's live it, but I'm miffed a little bit with the people.
Okay, now let's talk about that for a second. I'll start, Lauren. I know you have a comment, but Dion, you and Glenn, one of the things that I love to see is your commentary on people on some of the social media, right. and often it's your frustration. There's this frustration about what's going on in the community. Let me start with Glenn. What are you so frustrated about? What is happening that gets your ire up?
In Chicago,
yes,
everybody feel entitled, and like me, with me, I do what I do, but I'm gonna wash your feet like a brother first. I call myself a regular old foot washer, and it's just this entitlement going on, and people dissing everybody for nothing. It's like, and no offense to those people, but it is what it is. They ain't done nothing for the community. And some people really feel because of this new millennial thing that's happening, these new millennial people, they feel the claim to fame. Me and Dion had this argument plenty times, and he know what I
Yep.
mean. It's like they think they claim to fame is to diss somebody. I'm like, this ain't the 1980s hip hop scene in New York where that they dissed each other because they were making money. It's almost like two fighters in a fight. Ali never hated nobody he fought. They would talk in the background and say, "Yo, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that, so get ready." And now everybody be serious, and you got people that don't they dislike you because what you've accomplished. And which brings me to the get down. When Dion asked me to join, I'm like, oh hell, I ain't got nothing to do. And COVID done messed everybody up. So let's put on some people who need help to be put on. And that's any and everybody who wants to be put on. That's where I'm at. So I'm taking my name and adding it to the pot to help people out. And some people, you should see the conversations me and Dion read in the inboxes.
Tell us about them.
one cat, one cat told us he want to play, how he want to play, when he want to play, on the page and on the radio show. And I'm like, you got more nerve than a toothache. That ain't how things